One of the topics many people around the world are hoping to see brought up between President Trump and Theresa May at the G20 summit is the heartbreaking case of Charlie Gard.
And our next guest had to fight for his own daughter at the beginning of her life. Former presidential writer for President George W. Bush, Ned Ryan, joins us now. Ned, good to have you here.
Thank you.
And I know this hits close to home for you, and this is such an emotional story, just to give people a sense of what we're talking about, because it's really received a lot of national attention.
Right.
This 11-month-old boy over in the UK has a terminal disease, was put on life support.
Right.
The courts in the UK have now given permission for the hospital to take this boy off life support, but as you can imagine, the parents are fighting for his life. They want to do everything they can to save their child. Now you have the Pope chiming in, President Trump with his support, saying we want to help bring him back to the United States. And this is something, as I said, hits close to home for you, Ned.
It does. I mean, I think the thing that's scary when you look at what's taking place over there is that the parental rights are not absolute. It's gone to the courts. They failed at an appeal level at the court. They failed at the Supreme Court. Then it went to the European Court of Human Rights, which sounds very Orwellian to me.
It does. And
the European Court of Human Rights decided that it really was, decided that the baby should not be, couldn't fight for the baby, but even more importantly, it couldn't be removed from that hospital because the parents want to bring it to the U.S.
Yes.
New York Presbyterian and Columbia's Irving Medical Center have said we would agree if get over all the hurdles, we would agree to take this child and be able to do some of the experimental.
Because you had a scare on your own here in the U.S.
We did. Our daughter Charlotte was born at 24 weeks. She was born 4 months premature.
Wow.
Some of her primary nurses think she was born a couple days before 24 weeks, which is really the edge of viability.
There she is now. How old is she?
She's 8. She'll be 9 in November.
Beautiful.
And when she was born, she was 1 pound 7 ounces, 12 inches long.
Oh my
gosh. We were given some pretty grim odds. Pretty grim odds on just her long-term health, that there could be brain damage, that she would have long-term health problems. And, 3 times, and the doctors were doing their job. And I give them credit. They were doing their job. They were wanting to give us all the angles. 3 times, do you want to end this pregnancy? And my wife and I firmly believe in the value and the dignity of all life. And we said, no, absolutely not. We want to fight for Charlotte. But it was our decision.
Exactly. What if you had been, I mean, why does that come about? Why does the UK get to a point where an amorphous-sounding board or the government is making decisions?
But this is the end of socialized medicine. And I think in some ways this does kind of tie in a little bit to the debate that we're having here in the United States. What do we want to see the future of our healthcare system look like? Do we want a single payer? Or do we want where we still have the ability and the right to make our own health decisions, including parents making those decisions for their children? And, I actually shared with a friend a couple months after Charlotte was born, and we were at the point where we knew she was going to be fine. We knew that we're not going to be any long-term disabilities. But I said, I think what the future looks like, and we have to be very careful of, this might not be my decision, my wife's and my decision in the future. It might be decided by a board who will say, you know what, this doesn't make sense. We are not going to spend hundreds.
It's not cost-effective.
It's not cost-effective because it costs us hundreds of thousands of dollars to save one life.
But we're talking about a life, though, Ned.
Exactly.
Right, we're talking about a life and real emotion.
How can you put a dollar value on a human life? Yeah. There is no way to do that. And so, but the end goal at some point is, if we go down that path, you will have boards, you will have commissions saying, you know what, it's not in our best interest, the costs don't make sense, we're not going to agree that the doctors and the hospital can care for these children, because the prospect is not, a good one.
If Charlie were to come here to the United States to get help, how would his situation be different than how it was in the UK?
Well, it gives the parents the ability to say, we will pursue this experimental treatment.
Give it a shot.
We'll give it a shot. I mean, again, the odds are pretty grim as they are, but at least give them a shot to say, we're going to fight. It's your right. You can try this experimental treatment. And that's the difference. Again, it comes down to parental rights. Who has... The thing that scares me a little bit, Pete, about the future if we go down this path, if you have these boards or these commissions or people making these decisions, who controls the controllers? And what if they have a different worldview than you? What if they view life differently than you as just a number and a statistic instead of this a human life of just unfathomable value? It's
so true. And in this life, when the chips are down, all you want is a fighting chance, even if that chance is slim. You take that away and a board tells you no, what else do you have?
There's nothing you would fight harder for than your own child.
And that's true. And the thing that my wife and I have discussed is if there were those listening to the odds that we were given, even the night before Charlotte was delivered with an emergency C-section, those odds were pretty grim. Yeah. But we said, we're going to do it because we will at least give Charlotte a chance to live. And you know what? She's going to be 9 in November. She's perfectly healthy. She's amazing.
Amen. Well, we're so glad that she is doing well. She's beautiful.
She is beautiful.
We appreciate you
Charlotte,
telling
baby girl.
your story.
Keep it up. Ned Ryan, thank you very much. Appreciate it.